I did one act of kindness daily for 30 days. What happened shocked me. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into something that will literally change your life. I'm talking about how the smallest acts of kindness can create massive waves of happiness, not just for others but for you too. And here's the crazy part: by the end of this video, you're going to understand why being kind is actually the most selfish thing you can do, and I mean that in the best possible way. But before we jump in, let me ask you this: when was the last time a stranger did something unexpectedly kind for you? Maybe someone held the elevator door or let you go ahead in line when you were clearly having a rough day. How did that make you feel? Drop a comment below, because I guarantee that moment is still crystal clear in your memory, and there's a scientific reason why. So here's what happened to me last week that made me realize I had to make this video. I was at the grocery store and I'm juggling my phone, my keys and trying to grab a cart when this elderly person sees me struggling and just walks over and hands me a cart. No big deal, right? Wrong. This tiny gesture completely shifted my entire day. I went from feeling stressed and overwhelmed to feeling like there was still good in the world. And that got me thinking about the ripple effect of kindness. Your brain on kindness is literally like your brain on drugs, and I'm not even exaggerating here. When you do something kind for someone else, your brain releases a cocktail of feel-good chemicals. We're talking dopamine, serotonin and oxytocin. Scientists call this the helper's high, and it's more addictive than any social media scroll or shopping spree you've ever experienced. But here's where it gets really interesting. The person receiving your kindness gets the same chemical rush. And get this, even people who just witness acts of kindness get a smaller but still significant boost in these same chemicals. So one small act of kindness literally creates a chain reaction of good feelings that spreads to multiple people. How insane is that? Now I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds great, but I'm barely keeping my own life together. How am I supposed to focus on helping other people? And that's exactly why I need to tell you about the most counterintuitive discovery about kindness. Ready for this? The more you give to others, the more you actually receive back. And I'm not talking about karma or some mystical force. I'm talking about measurable psychological and physical benefits. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice kindness have lower levels of stress hormones in their blood. They have stronger immune systems. They live longer. They report higher levels of life satisfaction. They have better relationships. They even make more money on average. So when I said being kind is selfish, I meant it. You're literally investing in your own well-being every time you help someone else. Let me tell you about this experiment that blew my mind. Researchers gave people money and split them into two groups. One group was told to spend the money on themselves. The other group was told to spend it on someone else. Can you guess which group reported feeling happier at the end of the day? Yes, the group that gave their money away. And here's the kicker: this wasn't a one-time thing. They repeated this study multiple times across different cultures and age groups. The result was always the same. But you don't need money to be kind, and that's the beautiful thing about this. Some of the most powerful acts of kindness cost absolutely nothing. A genuine smile. Eye contact when someone is talking to you. Holding a door. Saying thank you like you really mean it. These micro moments of connection can transform someone's entire day. I remember this one time I was having the worst day ever. Everything that could go wrong was going wrong. I was running late, I spilled coffee on my shirt, my phone was dying, and I was basically radiating negative energy. I walked into this coffee shop and the barista looked me in the eye, smiled and said, "How's your day going?" And they asked it like they actually cared about the answer. That tiny moment of human connection was like hitting a reset button on my entire mood. The thing is, we're living in this weird time where we're more connected than ever through technology, but somehow more isolated from real human connection. We can instantly message someone on the other side of the world, but we don't even know our next door neighbor's name. And this is creating what psychologists call an epidemic of loneliness. But kindness is the antidote. When you make eye contact with the cashier, when you ask your coworker how their weekend actually was, when you remember details about people's lives and follow up on them, you're creating these threads of connection that weave us all together. And here's what's fascinating about this. The people who feel most connected to their communities are almost always the ones who are actively contributing to them through small acts of service and kindness. Now let me share something that might surprise you about workplace kindness. We spend roughly a third of our adult lives at work, but most people think of kindness as something you do in your personal time. Wrong. The workplace is actually one of the most powerful places to practice kindness because the effects are magnified. Think about it. When someone at work helps you with a project, or covers for you when you're swamped, or just listens when you need to vent about a difficult client, how does that change your relationship with that person? How does it change your feelings about coming to work every day? Companies are starting to realize that workplace kindness isn't just nice to have, it's essential for productivity, retention, and innovation. There's this amazing story about a person who worked at a large corporation, and they noticed that the night cleaning staff seemed invisible to most employees. So they started learning the cleaning staff's names, asking about their families, leaving thank you notes for their hard work. Soon other employees started doing the same thing. The cleaning staff began taking more pride in their work. The office became cleaner and more pleasant. Morale improved across the board. One person's small acts of recognition created a cultural shift in an entire building. And this brings me to something crucial about kindness that most people miss. It's not about grand gestures or life-changing interventions. It's about consistency. It's about showing up as a kind person day after day in small ways that accumulate over time into something much bigger. Let me tell you about the kindness challenge I gave myself last month. I decided that for 30 days I would do at least one small act of kindness every single day. Other days it was sending an encouraging text to a friend who was going through a tough time. Sometimes it was just picking up litter that wasn't mine, or complimenting a stranger's dog. By day 10, something interesting started happening. I began noticing opportunities for kindness everywhere. It was like putting on special glasses that let me see all the ways I could brighten someone's day. By day 20, I realized that looking for ways to help others had become automatic. And by day 30, I discovered that I felt happier and more connected to the world around me than I had in years. But here's where things get really interesting. The people in my life started commenting on how I seemed different. More positive. More present. More genuinely interested in others. They didn't know about my kindness challenge, but they could feel the energy shift. That's when I realized that kindness isn't just something you do, it's something you become. Now let's talk about random acts of kindness towards strangers, because these might be the most powerful of all. When someone you don't know goes out of their way to help you, it restores your faith in humanity. It reminds you that most people are fundamentally good, even when the news and social media make it seem like the world is falling apart. I'll never forget this one rainy day when I was waiting at a bus stop without an umbrella. I was getting completely soaked and feeling pretty sorry for myself when this person I'd never seen before walked up and just stood next to me, sharing their umbrella. We didn't even talk much, but that simple gesture of sharing shelter with a stranger made me feel like I was part of a community of people who look out for each other. And here's something beautiful about random kindness: it creates these invisible networks of goodwill throughout communities. The person who helps a stranger carry groceries to their car might never see that person again. But that stranger now has a lived experience of unexpected kindness that they're more likely to pass on to someone else. It's like dropping pebbles in a pond and watching the ripples spread outward in ways you'll never fully see. Technology has given us new ways to be kind, but it's also created new challenges. Social media can be a platform for spreading encouragement and support, but it can also be a breeding ground for negativity and cruelty. The choice is ours. Every time we comment on someone's post or share their content or send a private message, we have an opportunity to add kindness to the digital world. But online kindness should never replace face-to-face human connection. There's something irreplaceable about looking someone in the eye and offering help or encouragement. The mirror neurons in our brains respond differently to in-person interactions than they do to digital ones. We're literally wired for physical presence and touch and shared experiences in the same space. Let me share something that might change how you think about family relationships. We often take the people closest to us for granted, assuming they know we love them without us having to show it regularly. But families that practice intentional kindness toward each other report stronger bonds, better communication, and more resilience during difficult times. This doesn't mean big expensive gestures. It means noticing when your family members are having a hard day and offering specific help. It means remembering what matters to each person and asking about their interests. It means celebrating small victories and offering comfort during disappointments. It means being fully present when someone needs to talk instead of checking your phone or thinking about your to-do list. I know someone who started leaving little notes in their family members' lunch boxes and backpacks. Just simple messages like "thinking of you today" or "you're going to do great on your test." Their kids started doing the same thing for each other. Soon the whole family was finding creative ways to encourage and support one another. These tiny gestures created a culture of appreciation and care that strengthened their relationships in lasting ways. The science behind intergenerational kindness is particularly fascinating. When older and younger people interact regularly and treat each other with mutual respect and care, both groups benefit enormously. Older adults who have regular positive interactions with younger people show improved cognitive function and emotional well-being. Young people who spend time with older adults develop greater empathy, wisdom, and patience. But our age-segregated society often keeps these groups apart. Nursing homes are isolated from schools. Retirement communities are separate from family neighborhoods. Online spaces tend to cluster people of similar ages. This separation robs both groups of the benefits that come from intergenerational connection and kindness. Now let's talk about something that might be uncomfortable, but it's crucial. Self-kindness. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly criticizing yourself, burning out from overwork, or neglecting your own basic needs, you won't have the emotional resources to consistently help others. Self-kindness isn't selfish, it's strategic. This means talking to yourself the way you'd talk to a good friend who was struggling. It means recognizing that everyone makes mistakes and that failure is part of learning, not evidence that you're fundamentally flawed. It means taking care of your physical health, getting enough sleep, eating well, and moving your body, because these things directly impact your mood and energy levels. It also means setting boundaries. You can't help everyone all the time, and trying to do so will leave you exhausted and resentful. Learning to say no to some requests for help allows you to say yes more enthusiastically to the ones that align with your values and capacity. Here's something that might surprise you about teaching kindness to children. Kids learn much more from watching adult behavior than from listening to lectures about how they should act. If you want children to be kind, the most powerful thing you can do is model kindness in your own interactions with others. This means being kind to service workers when children are watching. It means speaking respectfully about people who aren't present. It means admitting your own mistakes and showing how to apologize sincerely. It means including children in age-appropriate volunteer activities so they can experience the joy of helping others firsthand. Children who grow up in environments where kindness is normal and expected develop strong empathy skills and social intelligence. They're more likely to have healthy relationships throughout their lives. They're also more resilient because they know how to both give and receive support from others. Let me tell you about a school that implemented something called a kindness curriculum. Instead of just teaching academic subjects, they also taught students how to recognize others' emotions, how to offer help appropriately, and how to resolve conflicts peacefully. Test scores went up. Bullying incidents went down. Teacher satisfaction improved. Parents reported that their children seemed happier and more confident. The workplace provides endless opportunities for kindness, but many people think professional environments should be purely business-focused. This is a huge missed opportunity. Companies with cultures of kindness and mutual support have lower turnover rates, higher productivity, and more innovation. Employees who feel cared for by their colleagues are more engaged and more likely to go above and beyond in their work. Workplace kindness can be as simple as really listening when a colleague needs to problem solve. It can mean offering to help with a challenging project even when it's not your responsibility. It can mean celebrating others' successes without feeling threatened by them. It can mean including new employees in social activities and helping them feel welcome. But here's where workplace kindness gets tricky. Some people worry that being too kind at work will make them seem weak or that others will take advantage of them. The key is to be kind while also being competent and professional. Kindness without boundaries can indeed lead to problems, but appropriate kindness, combined with clear communication and strong work performance, actually makes you more respected and trusted. Environmental kindness is another form of caring that benefits entire communities. When you pick up litter that isn't yours, you're showing care for shared spaces that everyone uses. When you recycle properly and reduce waste, you're thinking about future generations. When you plant flowers or trees in public spaces, you're creating beauty that many people can enjoy. These environmental acts of kindness require minimal effort, but they demonstrate concern for our collective well-being. They also teach children that we all share responsibility for taking care of the world we live in rather than just thinking about our immediate personal needs. Crisis situations reveal both the worst and best of human nature. But they also provide unique opportunities for kindness that can have profound impact. When someone is dealing with illness, death, job loss, or other major challenges, practical help and emotional support can make the difference between feeling completely alone and feeling held by community. This kind of crisis kindness requires sensitivity because people handle difficult situations differently. Some want practical help like meals or childcare. Others need emotional support like someone to listen without trying to fix their problems. Some prefer to handle things privately, while others appreciate offers to connect them with professional resources or support groups. The key is offering specific help rather than just saying, "Let me know if you need anything." People in crisis are often too overwhelmed to figure out what they need and ask for it. But saying, "I'm going to the grocery store anyway, can I pick up anything for you?" or "I have Thursday afternoon free. Would it be helpful if I watch the kids so you can rest?" is much more likely to result in meaningful assistance. One thing I've learned about kindness is that timing matters enormously. The same gesture can have very different impact depending on when it happens. Kindness during ordinary moments when people aren't expecting. Extra consideration often stands out more than kindness during holidays or special occasions when good behavior is expected. A random compliment on a Tuesday afternoon can make someone's week. Help carrying groceries on a rainy Thursday can restore someone's faith in human goodness. A thoughtful text message sent for no particular reason can provide exactly the encouragement someone needs at exactly the right moment. But you can't plan these perfectly timed acts of kindness. The secret is developing the habit of paying attention to the people around you and staying open to opportunities to help. When you're genuinely interested in others' well-being, you naturally notice when they could use support or encouragement. Cultural differences provide opportunities to practice kindness through understanding and acceptance. In our increasingly diverse communities, we interact regularly with people who have different traditions, languages, and ways of seeing the world. These differences can be sources of tension, or they can be opportunities for mutual learning and growth. Kindness across cultural differences might mean taking the time to learn the correct pronunciation of someone's name. It might mean asking respectful questions about traditions you don't understand. It might mean standing up when you witness discrimination or prejudice. It might mean including people from different backgrounds in social activities and making sure they feel welcome. This inclusive kindness helps create communities where everyone feels valued regardless of their background or beliefs. It teaches children that differences should be celebrated rather than feared, and that we all have something valuable to contribute to our shared human experience. Now let's talk about something that might be the most important part of this entire video: the compound effect of kindness over time. Like interest earning on a savings account, each kind act builds on previous ones, to create benefits that are much larger than any single gesture could achieve alone. When you consistently show kindness to the people in your life, you develop a reputation for being caring and trustworthy. This opens doors to deeper relationships and greater opportunities to help others. People start coming to you when they need advice or support. They include you in important moments of their lives. They trust you with information and responsibilities that they wouldn't share with others. This compound effect also works on your own character and happiness. The more you practice kindness, the more natural and automatic it becomes. Eventually, helping others stops feeling like extra effort and becomes simply part of who you are and how you move through the world. But here's something crucial that I want you to understand. You don't need to see the results of your kindness for it to matter. Some acts of kindness have immediate visible impact. Others plant seeds that grow slowly over time. Still others provide crucial support during difficult moments that enable people to keep going when they might otherwise give up. Rather than focusing on recognition or measurable outcomes, focus on the intrinsic satisfaction that comes from knowing you've tried to make the world a little better. This internal motivation is more sustainable than depending on external validation, and it leads to more authentic and consistent kindness. Let me share one more story that perfectly illustrates this point. There was this person who worked as a bus driver, and every morning they greeted passengers with genuine enthusiasm, asked about their days, and remembered regular riders' names and interests. Most passengers just nodded politely and went to their seats. But years later, at this person's retirement party, dozens of former passengers showed up to thank them. Person after person shared stories about how this bus driver's daily kindness had impacted their lives. Someone said the friendly greeting helped them get through a difficult divorce. Another person said the driver's encouragement gave them confidence during a job search. A teenager shared how the driver's interest in their schoolwork motivated them to graduate high school. This bus driver had no idea that their simple daily acts of kindness were having such profound effects on people's lives. They were just being themselves, treating passengers with care and respect. But those small consistent gestures created ripples of positive impact that spread far beyond what anyone could have imagined. That's the power of small acts of kindness. You might never know the full extent of your impact, but you can be confident that your kind actions matter and make a difference in ways both seen and unseen. Every time you choose kindness over indifference, compassion over criticism, or generosity over selfishness, you're contributing to making the world more humane and caring. The future of our communities and our world depends on individual people making the choice to treat others with respect and care. In a time when division and hostility often dominate headlines, choosing kindness becomes even more important and impactful. Every small act of compassion is a vote for the kind of world you want to live in and leave for future generations. So here's my challenge for you. Starting tomorrow, I want you to commit to doing one small act of kindness every single day for the next week. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic or expensive. Hold a door. Give a genuine compliment. Send an encouraging message. Help someone carry something heavy. Listen without judgment when someone needs to talk. Pay attention to how these small acts make you feel. Notice how people respond. Watch for opportunities to be kind that you might have missed before. Tell us about acts of kindness you've received that stuck with you. Share stories about times when helping others made you feel amazing. Let's create a community of people who are committed to spreading more kindness in the world. If this video inspired you to think differently about the power of small acts of kindness, please hit that like button and subscribe. And remember that you have the power to change someone's life today with just a simple gesture of care and compassion. The happiness that comes from helping others is one of life's greatest rewards, and it's available to everyone regardless of their circumstances or resources. You don't need permission to be kind. You don't need special skills or perfect timing. You just need to care about the people around you and be willing to act on that caring in small everyday ways. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, remember that small acts of kindness can create big waves of positive change in our world, and it all starts with you.